Lockdown blues. Doctors say, take a hike. Yep, this is Mark and Pete. Welcome along to the Mark and Pete live show. It's good to have you with us. We've got some interesting discussion coming up, which Mark's got some information about. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and please share this video out to someone who may well be interested. Business and Mark, what have you got on this topic to do with hiking to get over a lockdown?
Well, Clergyman Pete, I believe this particular topic is something that I think most people should take note of. Now, most people who have been suffering from lockdown in many ways are getting depressed about being locked behind four walls. And unfortunately, there has been some consequences. People have been going to doctors. And in the past, doctors may have turned to prescribing medicine. In this particular case, what they're now starting to do is to prescribe taking a hike. Yes, actually, there have been examples where people who have been struggling with mental health issues have now been going to their doctors, and the doctors are saying, why not join a Ramblers Club? Go out hiking, go for walking, get in the outdoors and get the fresh air up your nostrils. Well, I think that it's a good idea in principle, but it does have some consequences. Now, I do know, Clergyman Pete, that this is something that you do engage with quite a lot. You do go out and about. I'd be interested to get your perspective on this.
Well, the thing is about hiking, it is a good thing to do in that it does get you out of your four walls of your home or wherever you've been staying, and it gets you out. Also, you've got the sort of regular low-level exercise, low-impact exercise. A bit, I know, Mark, when you dress up in a leotard and do your exercise routines, a bit like 70s disco and that sort of thing.
That's
the Jane Fonda workouts.
Every day.
When you do that, you can have a high-impact exercise or a low-impact exercise.
Certainly on the neighbours who hear me thudding around.
Yes. Now, and in the same way, you've got running, which is high-impact, or you've got hiking, where you're not actually throwing yourself up in the air and landing on your poor, tired knees. So,
is hiking, that where I've been going wrong?
That's where you go. Well, hiking is good from that respect, but also because you're taking your time. Just think about the mental health aspect of being locked up. To be able to take your time and look at the scenery, look at what's going on around. What is life if full of care? We have no time to stand and stare, as the poet once said. Yeah.
Well, I can understand that doctors are in some ways a little bit reluctant to be able to constantly prescribe medicines. We're all taking medicines. We're taking COVID-19 vaccines and many other things. But I can understand that, the idea of getting out and about, where perhaps it's been a little bit claustrophobic for many people over the last year or two. I gather that. I mean, so that's perfectly fine. And I can also see that there is some benefits to actually meeting people. So again, if you haven't had the chance to socialize, you've been in a situation where you have to do social distancing. Well, being out and about, you could easily do that across hills and dales. But there is something that does worry me, Clergyman Pete, about this. Well, I mean, yes, you're getting out and about, you're getting the fresh air. But I had a thought on this about, if you're somebody who's concerned, maybe you're wandering around, say, the business landscape. I was thinking, well, how often do you do this? I mean, especially those people who maybe are a little bit concerned about other aspects of their welfare. So here's a thought. Here's my idea of a thought in the customary fashion, of course, in a form of a poem. And I've called this The Inside Story on the Outdoors. Now, the adventurous enjoy the outdoor air and embarking on long rambles, with country wind through their hair, cutting through thick brambles. Under big rainstorms and the sun's glare, over hills and scrubland scrambles. Then upon returning, and without a care, they all look like utter shambles. See, I know that, Clergyman Pete, when you come back looking like a drowned rat, that's surely counter to your well-being and mental health. Doesn't it have some terrible repercussions.
Now, the viewers of this can tell us that you can tell rather that you have no idea what a ramble is like. Yes, you can get dressed up properly. I mean, you can go for a ramble as long as it's not in the hills. You could wear wellies, that'd be fine to keep your feet warm, or you could invest in some good solid walking boots, preferably with
what if you
made
like
of one piece of leather.
hair, or if your makeup is dripping and your
No, you
nail
don't.
varnish is
I
running?
think, Mark,
what
a businessman, when you go rambling, I'm suggesting that you in particular stop wearing makeup just for the duration of the hike. And so there's that freedom that you haven't got to look good, you haven't got to dress up, but you can just invest a little bit in some good equipment. Proper cagoule and that sort of thing. But
so
you
how
don't
much
actually
would
need
I have
that.
to invest in this?
Wait, this is the thing. No,
I'm very concerned about how much it's going to cost.
You don't need to invest. That's my point.
What do you mean, go naked?
You'll probably have some wellies. You can wear some wellies, and as long as you've got a waterproof coat and
around over hills and dales with wellies.
No, don't go over hills. Stick to a lowland walk. Stick to a flat walk. Walk along the edge of a river, especially if you haven't normally been hiking. I mean, that was my concern about the suggestion. If people think, "Oh yes, I'm going to go on a long hike up a hill," and they actually feel worse when they come back than when they went, which is the sort of idea you were talking about. Although you weren't thinking of exertion necessarily, you were thinking of, you feel all bedraggled because you've been rained on.
Exactly.
I mean, you can get a pretty
wet,
good waterproof,
shivery, dribbly nose.
Well, I mean, if you're saying you see, to buy really good equipment, a really good coat and a good pair of boots, maybe set you back, say £200. So that's a reasonable amount of money. So I would say,
think about how many shares I can buy in Amazon.
Yeah, you don't need to do that. You can just wear what you have available. Most people have some wellies. They're not expensive if you want to buy them. It is important to have dry feet, but in the good weather, of course, if you're not going up steep hills, so you're not going to twist your ankle, just wear a pair of trainers and have a coat in case it rains. Have a little bag with some drink, a bit of water, some maybe a bit of fruit cake or something like that, and go on the walk. That sort of thing. Having a little snack with you. This is one of the beauties of rambling, because you go for a walk, you feel hungry, and you eat. You see, if you eat it seems a strange thing to say, but if you just eat at set times and you haven't done any exercise, you might not actually really feel hungry, and yet you eat. To eat when you're actually hungry just increases the pleasure no end. So, so you've got that aspect of it, and then the other thing that I would say is you can combine it with something else. Maybe you have an interest in flowers, in watching birds, the flying variety. There was something else you could combine it with, and you could also go with someone. I think this is part of the advice, as I understand it, the doctors are giving.
Yes,
to go with someone,
but
walking
ideally,
along
and this is the key, go with somebody that you know, because the danger is, and this is my concern, is you could end up being trapped with somebody you don't like. Thousands of miles.
That's true. I mean, there's the rambling clubs have sprung up all across the country over the years. You could join a rambling club quite easily. Just type rambling into Google or ramblers into Google, and you'll find your closest club. But although that you would usually mean you haven't got someone who's going to be dangerous or unsafe. In fact, usually it's a group, so it's not just with one person. That's good. The problem is, yes, you may not actually like them, and then you stuck with them for a couple of hours. That's not great. But I would say, first of all, just go for a short walk with them first.
Well,
went through a short ramble. If you are just going with someone you have never spent a long time with them before, have a walk that's a couple of circuits. Drive to a lake maybe. So we'll walk around this 3 times. That will make a reasonable
don't
walk.
Walk through the lake.
No. But what I'm saying is, if you get fed up or you're too tired after the first one, you can always go home. So that's just a standard recommendation of mine. If you're not used to it, I mean, maybe you've kept fit during lockdown, cycling on your Peloton cycle in your living room.
Going nowhere.
Well, going nowhere. When you've kept fit, well, then that's fine. But still, making sure that you can easily get back home after a short piece of it, by a short walk. If you really are not enjoying the company or you just don't like it, then that just makes it easier. But I think generally I would say this is good advice. This is better than, for example, getting depressed and taking antidepressants. Going for a walk with someone is good, because it's so much easier to talk without feeling self-conscious about even serious issues. If you're walking along someone,
Well,
than if maybe you're sitting facing them. So
we have an example here.
Yes, go
and
ahead.
This is where really the story also stems. So there's a gentleman by the name of Jim Snodgrass. Now he's the
Of course,
84
yes.
years of age. He's from South Queensferry. And he went to his doctors, and this is where this particular story stemmed. Now, his doctor, Dr. Victor Jack, said, to your point, which is he recognized that Jim needed social connection, not pills. Now, this was the point here, because what happened, Mr. Snodgrass joined Ramblers Club, and he felt that actually he was starting to not only just get to the benefits of the outdoor life, what he was also doing is that he was meeting people. And Brendan Paddy, who is the Ramblers Scotland director, said, Jim, the person I mentioned, is truly an inspiration to us all. It's amazing to see how he improved his health and happiness by getting active with his local South Queensferry Ramblers group. He did go on to say, he says, clearly lockdown has been a hugely challenging time, yet we know that many people, like Jim, are discovering the revitalizing power of walking, with the booming numbers enjoying Scotland's outdoors. It doesn't need to be Scotland, folks, of course. It could be Wales, it could be England, Northern Ireland, and anywhere else for that matter. So yes, there are benefits to it, but I think caution says that you need to be well equipped, go with the right people, and perhaps give it a bit more time. You may not enjoy it necessarily first time round, but I suppose the question really here is, as well, the point that we're saying is, you've got to give it a period of time, haven't you? Because you've cooped up for a year or two in four walls.
Yeah.
It's an unusual experience, isn't it? Going out.
Start with a short walk.
Yes.
Don't take in too much to start with. But the movement will be good for you. And if you really haven't been keeping up with the exercise, or if you actually just cycling isn't quite enough, you can still have problems with pain in joints because you're not doing something that's taking your weight. Every time if someone is been in lockdown, or for whatever reason they're not been doing enough exercise, they start to get hip pain, knee pain, they start to get pain in their back. And this just regular movement of hiking sorts all that out over time if you take it gently.
Well, exactly. And most importantly, as I really emphasize, go with somebody you enjoy going with. Otherwise, your pain is one thing, but there could be a pain in the neck.
And everywhere else. So that's it.
One last piece of advice is always go equipped. And what I mean by that is not just the attire. Take some provisions, take a bit of food, take some water, lots of water. Take a backpack, and something like that.
Or a
backpack. Don't take anybody on your back, because that could be
don't do that.
Don't do that.
Depending on the circumstances, you might get arrested. So
exactly.
So that's it. Yes, rambling or hiking.
We have been rambling.
Is good for you. We've been rambling. You should go hiking. Let's have a Mark and Pete get together, join us all for a hike. Don't do that, but that's about all that we've got for them this week, isn't it?
I think so.
Mark.
Yep.
Yeah, do join us for our live streams coming up every week. Just come
log on to markandpete.com.
Markandpete.com. It's on the screen there if you're watching the video version. Markandpete.com is the way to get in touch with us, to get more information on what we're doing, and for you to tell us what you think. We'd love to hear from you. That's all for this week. Thanks. Catch you again later.